During my 2022 election, I was actually threatened by a guy who had basically said that he was going to have me shot at close range proximity. That's not my only experience with firearms. When I was in high school, I was actually at a campus where there was a gang shooting. And so obviously I take firearm safety very seriously, but I also take my personal safety seriously. And I just want to clarify something. To tell members, especially members that have been threatened, female members, I don't know if you guys know this, but are likely more targeted than male members because of the fact that we're looked at as victims, right? But to tell us that we don't have the ability to defend ourselves because of for whatever happened on January 6th is wrong. I reserve that right to defend myself. I reserve the right to carry my firearm in whatever capacity I want to without your permission. And to bring that to this discussion when this is something that has nothing to do with natural resources is wrong. And so I know that you brought up your military training. Well, I'm also a veteran, and I believe that people have the right to defend themselves and that you don't have the authority to sit there and lecture our chairman on whatever policy that you have in perspective for whatever reason. Representative Boebert brought up a great point. Anyone that has a concealed carry in this area has to go through training as well. And so please remove that. It's a very obviously sensitive topic for those of us that have actually been threatened and seen violence. And for you to sit there and use your military service, I don't know why you would ever do that. And I do not yield my time. Thank you, Chairman.
Gentlelady, yield back. Does anybody else wish to be recognized?
You wish to be recognized.
Mr. Case, you're recognized for 5
I
minutes.
yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Arizona.
Thank you, from the gentleman from Hawaii. There seems to be some confusion here. I'm not lecturing the chairman. I'm asking the chairman for some clarification. And number two, it's my understanding you don't need to have a CCW in order for you to bring a weapon onto the campus. As a matter of fact, much like some states, my state is a non-CCW state, you could just bring a weapon wherever you want. So number one, assuming that everyone has proper weapons training, that's not a good assumption, right? So what I'm saying is that I believe you have a right to defend yourself. I think everyone has a right to defend themselves. But you also have the dual responsibility, and as a gun owner, to also use your weapon and store it and handle it in a safe manner. Now, since we don't have any clarification about who's going to actually enforce it, whether there's any enforcement capability, what I'm questioning is whether or not we should just have sane, previously established weapons handling regulations that have been endorsed and enforced, not endorsed, by places like the NRA and other weapons organizations that have trained many of us. That's all the question is. Now, the chairman can't answer the question. I get that because it puts him in a very sticky situation. But again, my thesis on all of this is that if we're going to allow this to happen—
The gentleman's time has expired.
Oh, no, it was— Oh, you didn't admit it. I apologize. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
I yield the balance of my time to Mr. Huffman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And so just to finish— Oh, to Mr. Huffman. Is that okay? Yeah. I yield back.
Mr. Huffman,
That's
you're
fine.
recognized.